Hello and welcome everyone. My name is Avez Khan, Sydney-based cybersecurity solution architect. And in this video, we are going to explore some of the use cases we can directly orchestrate from SecureX threat response. So let's say if I'm doing a threat hunting and if I find a domain name that need to be blocked throughout my Meraki network, how we can block it in a matter of single click only. So this is the brief agenda we will try to cover in this video. We'll start with a quick introduction on SecureX, then we'll start exploring these two use cases related to blocking a URL, IP address, and domain name inside my MX from SecureX Orchestration. We will also try to rebuild one of these workflows inside SecureX Orchestration page. So let's get started. So whenever you buy any Cisco security product, you will get access to SecureX. So what is SecureX? SecureX is an open cloud native platform that connects Cisco security infrastructure and customer existing security infrastructure for a simpler, much consistent security experience across your endpoints, your cloud, your applications, and your network. So one of the key feature behind or include with SecureX is actually the unified visibility. So basically, within single pane of glass, you can read threat analytics from your Cisco security products, such as your email security appliance, which can be cloud-based or on-premises, your web security solutions, which can be WSA or Umbrella, your firewall. You can get incidents reported directly inside SecureX whenever IPS inside firewall detects any incident or any intrusion. Further, you can also gain visibility across your M4 endpoint solution and your multi-factor authentication solution also. So list keeps on expanding. Further, if you have already security products or infrastructure in your environment which are non-Cisco, you can also get some visibility for those products. For example, if you are using threat intelligence sources and non Cisco security firewalls or other products, basically you can utilize those products inside SecureX for creating custom workflows, playbooks, and you can also leverage threat intelligence from these sources while you are doing any threat hunting in your environment. So now let's start exploring the SecureX dashboard, and then we will start looking at the use cases which we are going to cover today. So this is how my SecureX dashboard look like. Since I'm using mainly it in my lab environment, so I have very fewer products, and also there is almost no data inside those products, so you might not see much visibility here. Remember, I was mentioning that with help of this platform, we can gain unified visibility across different security products I'm having in my environment. For example, here I have just added some analytics from my AMP and my firewall, but actually you can add whatever Cisco security products you have. For example, these are the security products I have already integrated in my lab environment. I can add analytics from these different products like my endpoint protection, my email, my firewall, my Stealth Watch Cloud, my Umbrella. And under these products, I can choose what type of analytics I want to gain visibility inside my dashboard. Further, I can create multiple dashboard for my different dashboard for different teams. For example, maybe I create a different dashboard for my NetOps team and different dashboard for my SecOps teams. On the left hand side, I can see the integration models which are available as of today to integrate with SecureX. You can see some Cisco and non-Cisco modules here. And if you want to learn more like what this integration will do, you can click on learn more and you will see, for example, this IBM X Force Exchange. This is basically a threat intelligence source from IBM. Once you integrate that, you can then leverage threat intelligence feed from IBM in your threat hunting. You can basically check reputation of any observable against IBM threat source. Further, with the help of this integration, we can also consume, share, and act on any output given by this threat intelligence feed. For example, if we discover any particular observable is malicious, maybe we can write a workflow where we can rely on the decision taken by this particular threat intelligence source, and then I can maybe isolate that particular endpoint or maybe block a domain name based on that. And that's the power of SecureX orchestration, which we are going to explore now and overall in this complete video series. So basically, a SecureX orchestration will allow you to write a customized workflow in a codeless environment where you don't need to write 100 lines of code in order to create any security playbook. For example, if I want to write a workflow or draw a workflow, I simply go to new workflow and I can quick drag some items or some action directly from here. Throughout the video series, we are going to explore these different type of pre-built objects and the function of these. And today you will see like we will explore some of the Meraki objects that are defined here, or maybe what I'll do, we try to create everything from the scratch. So for example, here we will, if I want to make a simple workflow where I need to call maybe my third-party firewall, or let's say Meraki firewall over API, what I can do, I can go to web service here, drag HTTP request object from that workflow page to my workflow editor. Once I click there, I can define then parameters like what will be my target. Target means that where I want to call this HTTP request. And here in the properties, I can define my API get request, put request, post request, and that's how I can orchestrate any action into certain devices over APIs. So now let's go back to our SecureX dashboard. So one thing I want to highlight here before we start going towards our use cases is the SecureX ribbon. This is one of the major feature of SecureX dashboard. So basically consider it like a small unified console where you can basically launch all your applications or different modules or products you have. Further, you can also use this console to manage your casebook. For example, if any incident reported inside your environment, that's going to be listed here, and then you can assign this incident to yourself or to your colleagues. And idea behind assigning this to someone or yourself is to investigate whether any of my internal network device has been impacted or try to communicate with this suspicious IP. So right now I can see this intrusion event happened. My firewall, data center firewall, has blocked certain IP addresses which try to exploit some vulnerability inside my data center network. So I want to see how much it has impacted my network, whether is there any other IP address that has tried to communicate with this malicious IP address and domain name. Once I click on investigate, you can see there are 4 observables associated with that incident. I can see this is my internal IP address. This is public IP address. Again, this could be an internal IP address, and this is also a public IP address. So if I check all these and click on investigate selected, what will happen? SecureX will launch one more additional module we call SecureX Threat Response or Cisco Threat Response. So what this tool do? Basically, we use this module or tool to launch any proactive or reactive threat hunting. So right now, it is trying to communicate all my security devices I'm having inside my network, which can be firewall, my email security appliances, web security appliances, or any other Cisco security appliance. It will check whether any of these security systems have seen these observable before, which we are investigating. In this case, these are IP addresses and domain name. Further, it is also communicating with different threat intelligence sources I have integrated. Remember, I was mentioning that we can also integrate with IBM in the previous example. So what it do, like it will try to communicate with IBM or VirusTotal, which is also third-party threat intelligence source, Cisco Talos, Umbrella, and it will see whether what is the reputation of these observables according to these different threat intelligence sources. And I can see as a result, this tool have created a graph. Uh, where I can see that this particular IP address, which was the root cause of, or which was the main IP or source IP who launched a malicious attack inside my network, has been hit this internal endpoint, which is my internal device, and these are other observables that are linked to this public IP addresses. So you can see here, if I zoom here, you can see different domain names, file hashes that are linked to this particular IP address. So which means that these domains are resolvable to this particular IP address. You can also see that red is, if you see something red here, which means that it is already declared malicious by different threat intelligence source, but you can also see some are not declared malicious. So what we can do, since we know that these are risky and suspicious, we want to block it throughout my environment. So let's say if I'm having multiple devices in my network, maybe if I'm having SD-WAN network where 20 plus security devices or appliances I'm having, in a matter of one click only, I can blacklist this particular domain name inside my Meraki network. So if I click here, I can choose the workflow. So basically under SecureX Orchestration, I can see all the workflows which I have created inside my orchestration page. So these two are custom based. I have built it myself, and these two are provided by SecureX platform itself. So once I click here, what will happen that it will SecureX will try to communicate my Meraki dashboard and will try to put this domain name into a blacklist category. So now let's verify this and go to my Meraki dashboard. Dashboard.meraki.com is the URL to log into Meraki. So, quick introduction on Meraki Dashboard. Meraki Dashboard is basically a web-based tool to manage and monitor on-premises Meraki network. So, Meraki basically is a cloud-managed solution that uses servers located at different parts of the globe to manage on-premises Meraki network. And Meraki Dashboard is a web interface or web-based tool to manage the on-premises network. So, this is my network, comms for Sydney head office, which where my MX security appliance has been installed. So if I go to content filtering rule, I will see that domain name has been listed here under a block list URL pattern. So which it has been orchestrated by Cisco Threat Response. Further, I want to also blacklist uh, this IP address, which is not showing any malicious reputation here. So I can click here. I can click on blacklisting URL in Meraki, blacklist URL in Meraki MX. Once I click there, it will also put this IP address under a denial rule in layer 3 security policies. So if I go back here, go under firewall, you will see under firewall settings, we can see layer 3 rules, layer 4 rules, and other layer 7 application rules we can define here. I can see a new entry here. This particular destination has been denied here, and this rule has been created against the action I have taken here. So that's the power of SecureX I want to highlight today. And in the rest of the series, we will try to create different type of workflows against common use cases we usually see in our daily operations.